comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome into Sports Idiot Nation. It is officially March Madness. It was just March before, but now officially today starts March Madness. We are excited. It is Sports Idiot Nation. Of course, coming to you every Monday and Thursday. It is I, Adam Reno, joined by Mr. T.I., Mr. Auburn, and the homie Memphis J to talk basketball, of course. So, all right, first I got to ask Memphis
he's got
J.
his balls on the couch.
I'm ready to go.
His balls are on the
the
couch.
Yeah.
Balls are in your court, Memphis J.
Hey,
Here's
man.
what we want to know.
Hey,
Do
man, get your
you
balls off the
fill
couch.
out multiple brackets or just one holy grail of a bracket and just go off that?
I usually end up with two, because I fill out one for myself and then my other one that I'll sometimes take a couple of wild card picks that I didn't know which way to go the first time. I'll do that for my wife's. She usually puts a bracket in through some type of deal with her work. So at this point, they just hand her the piece of paper. They're like, "Give this to your husband," and I'm like, "Okay,
They
all
know.
right, gotcha." I did okay one year, but I've usually, like most of us, some weird pick along the way throws my whole rest of the train down the way, or I'm just sold on one team. Like if Memphis is in there, like it's hard for me not to want to pick Memphis to go. Like I'm sure we're gonna hear from Ti, like Auburn all the way to the cup.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? You never know. It's March Madness. I mean, Auburn lost last
It is.
year.
It looks like a good field. It looks like a good
Auburn
bracket.
lost last year, but hey, we'll see. If my team's in there, I've got to. I mean, they are the number one overall seed, so of course I've got to give them the benefit of the doubt and roll with them. So
Right.
yeah, but there's a lot of good. I think all four number ones are worthy. Duke's phenomenal team. Houston, phenomenal team. Florida proved that they as well are a phenomenal team. Auburn's
Right.
proved it all year. I mean, they've got more. I got three more quadrant one wins than any other college basketball team in the nation. So, their non-conference schedule is, unparalleled to any other team this season. So, we'll see.
Right.
They're battle tested. That was the whole point. It was like, all right, well, we choked last year, so Bruce Pearl upped the schedule, up the competition on the team. Basically told guys like, hey, you come here, you're going to play less minutes, but you're going to be part of rotation. You're going to play less minutes. You're going to probably score less points. If that's not where you want to be, then don't come here. And it shows, that he kind of checked in with all those kids in their heads. So
I gotcha.
We'll see what happens, But I feel you on that. Memphis is a good pick, though. Memphis could sneak their way in there. They could sneak.
I
their
don't
way
know.
down there.
We'll get into it as we get deeper into the show. To answer his question, two basically, but usually they're not too far apart. What about UTI? Do you have like one, or do you go to like 2, 3 picks? Are you secretly somebody else we don't know in the Sports Idiot Nation bracket? You got Warner picks.
No, I do. Nah, I just do one. It's a lot easier that way. I do one, and then I dupe it over to all of the brackets, all of the devices, all of the apps, all of the things, whether it's Yahoo or CBS or ESPN or whichever invite I get. My work sent me a one for CBS, so it looks like I'm going to need to do that. So I've got to log in to sign that. I actually did try to sign one up, and it said I have one attached to a previous email, and I hate when that happens.
That's how it works.
Like, great. Now I got to figure out what's going on there. So, yeah, I just typically do one. I did pretty good for the most part. I had one year I did amazing. I mean, like, I was unbelievable how well I was doing. I got down to the Elite Eight. I had all of them. I think one upset happened. It really screwed me up. But I finished that year in, like, the top 93 percentile of the country. And that's the best I've ever done. And ever since then, it's been downhill. But that year, man, I looked at all the comparisons. I looked at the points per game. I looked at the defense. I looked at the away. I looked at the home. I mean, I really looked at everything and made like an educated guess on who I thought would win that year, and it really showed. And I haven't really put that devotion to it yet since, and I haven't done as well. So I think there's some correlation there.
I could agree. I've got an almost similar story, long story short, but I've done okay one time, and then other times it's just here or there, hit or miss, depending upon what my flavor of the year has been.
I
What
just
about you, Adam? You do like 500?
no. And here's my plea. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Here's my plea to America. Stop with the multiple brackets. I hate when people say, "Oh, I had that team on one of my brackets." Yeah, no
Yeah.
duh. No
Yeah.
duh. When you have 19 brackets, of course Grand Canyon is going to win on one of those brackets if they win. That is the
Yeah.
most cheapest way to go. I just do one. Screw all this other. Oh, I do 10 brackets, and I had Auburn only going to the Sweet 16 in that bracket, and they only
But
made
the
it to
other
the Sweet
bracket, I had them
16.
going to the Final Four, and then I had the Elite Eight, and then I had Duke going, and
Oh, Michigan
yeah,
State
oh, I
lost. I
almost
had
did
them
those.
losing in one of my brackets. Bro, get out of
Yeah.
here. What? Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that.
That's
Like,
not me either, even if I did have them winning or losing, because I'll forget by the end of the tournament. I'll be like, did I select VCU to be?
so that's why it's
What's the
pointless to do
numbers?
Yeah,
19 brackets. That's what I'm
the
saying.
only
Yeah.
time, the only time I get a different bracket is if I'm switching between uh, apps or whatever. It's like CBS to ESPN or something, and I'm just picking, and I'm like, I don't remember who I picked in that one. I'll
Right.
just pick this one. And every now and then I'll find out where it's like, oh crap, I picked Michigan State in this one, but I didn't pick them in that one. And it usually doesn't
Right.
work into my favor. Usually, the team that I didn't pick goes a lot further than the team that I did pick, typically.
That's fair. So as we talk about these brackets, we got a really tough one to literally start the day. So in a few hours, we get rolling, and already I just feel like you start off the day with an 8 versus 9. It is literally 50-50. And I don't
Punch them in the
know
face.
in my gut, Louisville, Creighton. Creighton is not as good over the last decade.
Battle of the
Since,
Birds. Battle
you
of
know,
the Birds.
Louisville's not that great anymore either.
Cards versus the Blue Jays. I for one am going with Creighton. I picked Creighton. I don't know why. Just I feel it. Louisville. That's a tough matchup for opening for game one. Wouldn't want to have to go against
man.
Creighton. I mean,
Now I will
they've
say,
proved every year that they belong. They always do well. I mean, they were in the Final Four a few years ago. So
I will say, who would win between the mascots? I will say, without a doubt, the Louisville Cardinals would win, and here's why. As we know, birds do not have teeth. And when you look, this is shout out to Miles because he always points this out and always is so upset. Go take a look at the Louisville Cardinal, and he's got teeth. So
yeah, he does have teeth.
So
He's very angry.
I'm
He's very
taking
angry.
a bird with teeth over a bird that has
Without
his
teeth.
mouth closed, therefore probably does not have teeth.
Mm,
The Louisville Cardinal would just utterly consume
yeah.
Creighton.
Okay. I can agree there. Yeah, I'm going to take a Cardinal with teeth over a Blue Jay.
It's ridiculous. He's like, "Arr."
Yeah, he's kind of
I'm
like
going with y'all too.
he's like a Popeye.
I agree.
It's kind of like if Popeye was a bird, it would
Right.
be the Louisville
the
mascot.
Popeye bird.
He's like,
Yeah.
The
Louisville Cardinals.
All
And
right,
they play
next
in the
up.
Yum Center.
Next to Yum Center, that's right. Yum
Which,
Yum.
I mean,
Next up.
the game is not obviously at the Yum Center. It's
Yeah,
at Rupp
it's-
Arena in
it's at Rupp.
Lexington. So, fun fact. But I'm sure they're psyched about that in Louisville. They got to hate that.
You know.
You got to play over there.
Yeah, at least they get to have some home fans and they don't travel far, you know.
Right. That is the good thing.
I give
Let
it a chance. I think that's probably what helps Louisville have a chance.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
be a home game, basically, for them. Let me
All
ask
right.
you this. Out of these teams, Purdue, Wisconsin, Clemson, and BYU, out of those teams I mentioned, these are all 4-3 5, 6 seeds that I mentioned, who has the biggest chance of being upset? So I mentioned Purdue. They play right after Louisville gets cracking. They get cracking. And that game, by the way, it's our annual time to tell a joke. Where's True TV? It's that annual time of year. They
That's right.
open up on True TV in Providence, Rhode Island. Purdue gets rolling against High Point. They're the 4 seed. High Point is the 13. Wisconsin
True
plays Montana.
CEOs are just like, man, a Ranger through the roof. What is going on? And they're like, oh, that's right. I forgot. We got that deal where they show some basketball games on our channel every now and then.
Yeah. Wisconsin plays number 14 seed Montana. Clemson is the 5. They play 12 McNeese State. And BYU, the 6, plays VCU, number 11. So out of those,
it's those Mormons, man. It's those Mormons.
Yep.
The Mormons are getting upset.
You can talk bad about the Mormons because they can't talk
Mormons are getting upset again. The Mormons are getting upset yet again. No, I got to go that. Yeah, I mean Purdue is the likely one because they always get upset, but they are, I think, a better team this year than they typically have been in the past. Even with Edie gone, I think they're a better team. They just because they're not one dimensional anymore. It's not just him getting rebounds and them throwing it to him. You know, they actually have to play basketball instead of just like hand it to him so he just drops it in the basket. Anyway.
By the way, no time like the present. How is Edie doing for y'all?
He's done pretty good. He's had some injuries, so he hasn't been playing as much lately. But when he's in there, man, he's like a double machine. I think he had like 4 games in a row where he had like 15 to 20 points and like 10 and 12 boards, 15 boards. At one point, I think he had like 21 boards. So I mean, he's filling his role nicely. He knows what his job is: set screens for Ja and get rebounds and dunks.
Just stand there.
I think he's growing. He does still get exposed sometimes depending upon the matchups. If he gets up next to the right big who has a lot of experience, usually an older big in the league who has, learned how to work different people. There are times where we end up having to pull him out and try to play around with other ideas, throw in J Huff or other big guys in to switch it and be able to stretch it further out to be able to actually shoot the 3 reliably. But I still like Edie, and he's done well even though he's a rookie at kind of filling that enforcer role. The couple of times people have picked on somebody else on the team, if he's on the floor and not going to get in trouble for leaving the bench, he goes out there and is like, no, you're not going to pick on this guy.
They're like, yes, sir.
That's half the job,
yes, sir,
right?
Mr. Edie. Yes, sir, Mr. Edie.
Right. But yeah, no, he's doing good. He does get exposed every now and then. I have to say, it's tough to watch when I'm like, okay, this guy just knows how to pick him apart. I'm not going to get into exact people, but there's something to be said about your 7th, 8th year of playing that level of competition versus your first time dealing with all of the craziness as a rookie.
Everyone remembers their first time.
To it.
So
yeah.
I get it. Okay, so
even idiots.
So, all right, Memphis J, you are a Memphis fan. Are they even healthy?
I don't know for sure if the news. I was watching a prediction with somebody talking through their bracket, and he's based out of Memphis, and I like what he's got to say most of the time. There's a guy who plays for us named Hunter. He's not our best player. That is, I think PJ Haggerty right now is really killing it. He's still in good health. So I'd say overall Memphis is healthy. It just depends on if the next man up can handle it, because from what I understand, Hunter is almost a lock for not being able to play maybe the whole tournament. So Memphis, if I would, it's really one of those situations where it's probably kind of like Auburn. Let's see how this first game goes. What kind of energy and what are the guys bringing to the tournament, and I'll have a better idea how far I really think they're going to go. I am excited though because Memphis has had a really tough schedule as well, and they've dropped a few games, but they kind of like Auburn were like, we're going to hit it hard from the beginning. I mean, Auburn and Memphis were playing early in the season already, matching up in the was it the Maui Invitational.
Yeah, the Maui Wowie. Memphis
Yeah.
got a hold of that Maui Wowie from Auburn.
Yeah, they did. We
all
had
right.
some of that before the game. We didn't make it.
Happens to the best of them. Happens to the best of them. You know, what's that? You have to wait till after the podcast for that.
No, we don't. No, on our kitty.
But no, I'm excited about Memphis. It's one of those things where it's tough as a Memphis person because I got a lot of love for Penny Hardaway, but at the end of last year, I was kind of looking at the numbers and just his on paper, and I was like, if it was somebody else, I might be questioning how well he was doing. But he's also in a tough spot, and I know oftentimes I'm on here talking about NIL and changing the game on college sports, but it really has for a coach. You're no longer getting a chance to take a player and develop them more than a year or two unless they just really buy into your program at this point, which is cool for the programs that the kids do, but other kids are just like, let me get as much money as I can. And I'm not mad there either, you know?
No, man, get paid. Gotta get paid. Make that
That's
money.
Right. We gotta get paid, pay our bills. Remember to follow us wherever you get your social media, Sports Idiot Nation. Also, Hoops Idiot Nation's a big one that these guys here help run. So
We're
again,
growing.
all you basketball heads,
Depending on wherever Jacob lands on the video.
I think I'm up here for you right now.
Well, but it might be
I don't
different
know.
because I'm pointing over
it
here.
shows up different when it's live.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know.
I think you're
Adam's
over there.
Adam's wild. Adam's wild like that.
Yeah.
I'm in the West. So yeah, the first two rounds are always, it's so much basketball. I key in on when UCLA is usually in the tournament. There's a couple years here and there where they just have a dud, but since Mick Cronin has been there, they're usually decent, and I'm excited because we play in the evening on Thursday, and Michigan plays on Thursday, and I'm not a Michigan guy. I'm not a Big Ten guy. I have to be now that UCLA is in the Big Ten, but Michigan's just a weird story because they kind of got the shaft. If your team wins your tournament, and nowadays you kind of have to go on a run to win your tournament. I mean, and I just feel like to give them slap them with a 5 seed is rough if you are a Michigan fan.
Yeah, I've got them going pretty far in mine. I don't have them going all the way, obviously, but
yeah,
I've got them going pretty far. Actually, that's right. I have them losing to who's that? Oh, that's right. I have them losing to Auburn. That's right.
Yeah, I think most people would. I don't know if this is the year that all the 1 seeds advance farther than any other.
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible. Houston, Duke, Florida, Auburn. I mean, good luck.
You know, we said that though when Duke lost to Lehigh, Virginia lost to some Texas Commonwealth or something. I don't know who they lose to.
Yeah, somebody lost to Belmont years ago. Was it Duke or Kentucky? I can't remember.
I mean,
MTSU upset Michigan State that year.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the first round, I think.
Is this the year where all the ones advance past the Sweet 16?
I think
looking at the rosters and the teams, you would think so. I think
it's a pretty safe year for the fact of pushing the ones pretty deep into your brackets if you haven't figured it out yet. Filled it out yet, I mean. I think the ones
or figured it out. Doesn't matter.
We're still figuring it out too, so don't feel bad. I'm working on it. But no, I think all of the ones have a really good chance. Like as I'm here on my main screen, if y'all see me doing stuff, I'm trying to pull up a good bracket so I can see it. And every time I pull one up, as people start talking about the matchups, they're old brackets and they're wrong for like who they've got playing
But
versus who. And I'm just like, yeah, but almost always the number ones remain the same. I saw somebody's like early in the season before it started, and I think their ones were almost the same ones that are now. So that's a good sign, at least for them,
I
hopefully.
see Jacob swiping in the air, and he's talking about his big screens. And he's got those like Minority Report, like Tony Stark computers over there.
I'm
You know,
trying.
he's just like
I'm getting
he's
it
just
up.
like he's like bringing it all up. Damn, man,
Bracket.
we're gonna have to get some of that tech over here on our side, Jacob.
We do.
But
Even it out. Share some of that Hoops Idiot Nation money.
yeah, man, give me some of that Minority Report computers.
Right?
Man.
But yeah, so upsets wise, you know, that's the thing. So I like to kind of approach everything from like a mathematical perspective, right? Instead of just like everybody goes through and they're like, oh, my gut says this or whatever. I just kind of think like, okay, theoretically an upset, how often does an upset happen? What is classified as an upset? Is a 9 beating an 8 seed and an upset or whatever? Like, no, right?
Right.
So it's like, how many upsets are you really going to possibly have? And then you've got 4 quadrants. And so I just kind of go through and look at like, we might have 2 upsets in each quadrant. Some quadrant might have 1 upset, like true upset. So it's like, that's where I kind of like pick and choose there. And I look at some teams. If a team has a good history of being consistently in the tournament versus a team that may have just been bouncing around here every couple of years, it's like, well, I'm probably going to go with this other team of not getting upset, versus like this random team. And I just think sometimes if you put a little practicality into your selections, you don't have to do a whole lot of research to get things right. You just got to kind of like use math as your friend, because I mean, it's no matter whether you're playing cards or anything, like math is always there. You just got to look for it. And that's kind of how I approach these things, because there's so many games. So you have to have some kind of strategy, unless you're just like, like you said, just like your wife's coworkers, they just give one to her and she probably filled it out a few times. Was like, I just give it to Jacob from now on, But it's like she was probably
She pretty much just gives it to me. Like y'all said, I dupe most of mine over to it every now and then. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick this one random team because I didn't know the first time. I'm like, let's just see. Maybe it'll play out and she'll get lucky and win.
But I mean, there's people that are like, based on the colors. They're like, I'm just going to pick it based on the colors.
Right.
Kelsey
No,
was here,
I
that's
agree
what she
with
would
you.
say.
Unless you're really, this is almost your job to analyze and watch basketball throughout the season. There are so many teams, especially when you get into the first round. There's so many teams to understand who is healthy, who is all together, who has got good energy coming into it. It's tough. You really got to know your stuff.
I think also sometimes it's about storylines. Like, for example, I was just kind of perusing the bracket, and one thing that hit me was I definitely have New Mexico beating Marquette. So New Mexico is coached by Patino, the young
that
Patino.
as well.
And they're the 10 seed, but New Mexico is 26-7. Not that it's just about your record, but New Mexico is pretty good, and Marquette finished 4th in the Big East and lost double-digit games. But
New Mexico's like scoring isn't New Mexico scoring like 85 a game or like something close to that?
It's crazy, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing too. Is like you look at some of these schools where it's like they average 73 points a game. You look at another one where it's like 85. Well, it's like, okay, well, is this going to be a defensive struggle, or is this other team just going to be a mismatch? So like you got to look at all that stuff. I mean, if you really care, and you really want to like prove it and win money or bragging rights, like you definitely want to spend some time on it. But then again, if you just want to have fun and blindly throw darts at it, by all means, do it. But don't get mad at me when you lose.
Right.
We're the best of both worlds, because in 1 minute we can tell you, watch out for Wisconsin. They are scoring more points than they have in 30 years. And the next minute, T.I. can hold up a stuffed animal and pretend he's talking to it.
That's right.
That is right. That's what he said. Yeah, that's.
No, his name is Adam.
So
Yeah,
we
I've got
can
it.
drop some knowledge. We can give you some little tidbits of information here, and then we can just be complete idiots. It works both ways.
But like some of these mascots, like what is the Lobos, right? The New Mexico, the Lobos. What is a Lobo? What's
what
a
would
Lobo?
you say a Lobo is?
I think it's a wolf.
Lobo?
Is it a wolf? Ooh,
I think
okay.
Lobos is wolf.
Okay,
Los Lobos is the wolves.
And the Marquette are eagles, right? Golden Eagles. Is that Marquette?
So Los Lobos are
Yes.
the Lobos. For those of you who don't habla español.
Yeah, that's like the Mario brothers. Mario's name is Mario. Luigi's name is Luigi Mario. Because they are the Mario brothers.
Yeah, Lobos is a timber wolf. Lobos is a timber
right.
wolf.
And so Marquette are the Golden Eagles, right? Isn't that who they are? Something
Wolf
like that.
versus eagle, yeah.
Ooh, man. Wolf versus the eagle.
It's hard to pick anything against an eagle.
The wolf's going to have the wolf's going to have it's tough to go against a wolf, but I mean, we've already said that we both have picked New Mexico to win. So I guess we have to determine that the eagle swooped down, the wolf jumped at the right time and snapped the eagle's neck and moved on to the next round.
Can you act it out with the tiger?
Mm-hmm.
Can you act out how that would?
So it's like the eagle's like, and the tiger's like, wait, it wouldn't be a tiger. It was a wolf. It was a Lobo.
Remember that scene in Tommy Boy where he's
yeah, I'm probably going Timberwolf.
You use the other guy's brake pads, and you're driving around.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm on fire.
That's how you sell.
See, we're highbrow around here. This is why people tune into us, so they can get nothing but the most prestigious, informative, intelligent, mature sports takes across the country.
With like 5-minute late fact checks, it is the Golden Eagle. I just didn't want us to look like complete idiots. We're Timberwolves and Golden Eagles.
Way past. We're way past.
We look like
we're past that. Cheers.
We look like complete idiots the minute we hit record.
It could have been the Caterpillars by the
like, all right, I'm going to press record, and we look like idiots.
So, all right, Memphis J, do you have a dark horse in this field of 64? Someone that is not Memphis, because that's kind of who you're pulling for. I'm pulling for UCLA. We have no clue who T.I. follows. He's just kind of in the wind. But who is your team?
He picks a new team every other week, that guy.
Yeah.
Man, I really don't have one this year.
And that's fair.
I really don't have one this year unless, and I don't know how the games, because I don't have it right in front of me, unless, weirdly, I think there's a chance where Auburn could face up against Louisville in Kentucky, wherever they're playing. In that case, that could be a really that could be a tough matchup for them. And in case that I would take them as, I guess, kind of like would fill the dark horse role, because they're knocking the 1 seed out. But I don't know. Like you said, you didn't think Louisville would make it out of the first round, so that's one. It's hard to say.
Well, they do have teeth.
Creighton's a good team. Yeah, they have teeth. Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah, Creighton's a good team. I mean, yeah, but you know, all the Kentucky fans could show up and root against Louisville and wear Auburn stuff and root against them. Probably not wear Auburn stuff, but
no. I thought that too. I heard a national guy talking about, Louisville, they're in Kentucky. It's almost like a home game, and it's like, well, yes, but no, not when it comes to Louisville playing in Kentucky. That's a scary arena on a normal day for them to go in for actual regular college season work. It's going to be tough anytime you play Kentucky at Rupp.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a good, interesting year. There's a lot of good teams, and I think for picking brackets, this is an awesome year. And speaking of, I'll plug it. If you're not doing, if you don't know, Sports Idiot Nation, Titans Idiot Nation has a bracket, and I think when I saw it just a second, we're up to 34 people currently, and about to be 35 when I sign up. So click the link is on Facebook and all those, but it's a Yahoo sports bracket.
Yeah, and you've got literally like by the time this is airing right now, like
Yeah.
live, you've got like 3 hours before the cutoff. So you
Right,
better get
that's
it
true.
in. You better
That's
get
true.
it
Get
in.
on it. Get on it.
You better get it in. No prizes this year. Maybe a prize. I don't know. Maybe whoever wins it, I'll reach out to them and send them stuff.
We
Maybe I'll
won't punch you in the face.
Yeah, we won't punch in the face.
We won't come and
didn't.
punch you.
Yeah, David actually won the last one. Shout out to
Right.
Schmitty there, Schmidt dog.
That's right.
But he did good. I have to give him some credit on that. But as far as dark horse for me, I'm going to pick one of the 72 SEC schools.
Got it.
To make it there. I mean, they're all pretty good, man. You could see Alabama going to run. You could see Kentucky going to run. You could see Tennessee going to run. You could see even somebody like Missouri or something going to run. I mean, I was looking at the
even I can hear your tiger talking right now. Even I can hear him down there talking. What's he saying?
He's like, hold on, who's that? Oh, he didn't like the fact that I said another team that had a mascot as a tiger would win. So
I got you.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Missouri didn't like me talking about Missouri. So, but no, I mean, I feel like if I'm going to go outside of the SEC, I'm going to have to go with one of the Big Ten schools. Purdue could make a run. Like I said, I just feel like they're a different looking team without Edey. I feel like they're just more diverse. They just spread the ball around. They could go on and run and make up for all those losses they have every tournament.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you can bet on: death, taxes, and Purdue getting upset.
Not winning a ring
in the March
boiler making.
Yeah. What's a Boilermaker? It's train, right?
I like how you said that you'd have to go outside the SEC, or if you went outside the SEC. Well, there's no teams left. If you pick a team as a dark horse outside the SEC, you got like McNeese State. That's it. Like there's not many teams left. However, there is a team that I think can be a dark horse, and now they are also in the Big Ten. But come tournament time is not a time that I go against Tom Izzo. And when he has a team that does not have a bunch of All-Americans, in my opinion, he does better because they truly have to fight. When you have a bunch of, guys like Mateen Cleaves or Draymond Green or who was the lefty who
Jaren Jackson Jr.?
No.
He was on the Michigan State team, though.
Mm-hmm. So when you have the big name guys, they kind of are expected to take over, and yes, they do well. Mateen Cleaves won a chip, but like when you have a bunch of no names like their team, but they're just cohesive, they're well coached, obviously. In tournament time, I just think, and I'm not a Big Ten guy, I'm not a Michigan guy.
I mean, I heard something 27 straight. Is that right for Tom Izzo's teams? That at least he's made it to the tournament, like 20-something straight.
That would not shock me, not one bit. I mean, if that's the case,
that's pretty good.
So
pretty good. I can't really count to 20, but that sounds like a lot in a row.
It sounds good.
Sounds good. 20's a lot, right? 20's more than 19, right?
So it's almost 1 million. So yeah. Michigan State is my dark horse. I don't root for them. I don't hope that they win. I'm just saying if I had to pick a team that I thought, could really make noise that people aren't talking about really is Michigan State.
27th consecutive NCAA tournament. 27. If y'all can count higher than 20, that's
definitely
a few more than 20.
Yeah. I have to take my shoes off.
It's two fews in a one.
Those kind of numbers, I have to take my shoes off, use my toes. But
it's like a baker's
another one, Iowa State. I mean, they're not really under the radar because they've been great all season. But they're one of those teams too that always gets close but never really gets over the hump. So could this be the year that they make the Final Four? I don't know.
They're not a dark horse. I think they're a number 2. But St. John's, I think they could go deep into the. Yeah, I think they're a safe pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
to ride into the tournament a little bit.
It's tournament time. What is the night UCLA? But what's the late game for Thursday. There's always one that starts at like tip off at like 10 o'clock.
So
it's on True TV at like 10:15 or something.
Right.
So for tonight, it is Texas Tech plays. They're the 3, and they play NC Wilmington, and that game is in Wichita, Kansas, on True TV. So
it is on True TV. Look, see, I knew it. Of course, all the late stuff. They're like, can we just get it, please, just one game? They're like, we'll give it late
Jokers game. Right after.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we can bump these infomercials. Infomercials. Play the basketball.
It's definitely not one episode of Practical Jokers. It's a marathon.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's never just one episode. It's kind of like it's like roaches. If you see one, there's probably a lot of them.
Right. There's never just one.
Yeah.
Which is however many
I'm not implying the Impractical Jokers are a bunch of roaches. I actually find their show to be kind of humorous sometimes, but
right.
It's a reach.
It also gets a little old sometimes too, but it's just how it goes.
All right, so
they're like, all right, now go up here and say this crazy stuff. Like, get them to just get this crazy reaction from It's like it's funny, but then eventually it just starts to drain on you.
So we will figure out all the upsets, figure out why they happen, because as we're talking right now, we're like, oh, there's not going to be that many upsets. I'm calling it right now. There's going to be more than 3 upsets that happen the next time that we talk on Monday,
or the whole first weekend.
Yeah, there's going to be more than 3
the whole weekend. More than 3.
I'm calling it right now.
That's possible. Yeah, that's possible.
Every year we say,
but what about the first round? What about the first round, though? Let's call it right now. How many upsets will there be in the first round?
4.
4 total upsets in the first round. All right, here you go.
That's over Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday, there will be
4. You're going with 4. Okay, that's doable. That's doable. VCU is going to be one of them. New Mexico is going to be one of them.
Yep.
I'm not sure who others are going to be. I think I've got.
That's where we have to figure out.
Gotta figure it out. You got to figure out, and we'll figure out why I will probably be winning the bracket this year.
Or the Tiger will.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Give yourself a prize.
He has his paws crossed.
Shout out to Memphis J and Hoops Idiot Nation. Be sure to check out all of us
follow
on
Hoops Idiot Nation.
The Idiotverse, and of course Sports Idiot Nation wherever you get your social media. Memphis J, thanks for hanging. We'll see you next time, and we will catch you Monday. Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.